Riverside Sheriff's Department's worked continuously on this case for over 15 months. Interviewed maybe 1,000 different people that got leads from at least that many. And what finally led to an arrest recently was the fact that the Sheriff's Department received a hit from the DNA database that identified our defendant as a suspect in this case. Coupled with other information we had was sufficient to go ahead and begin the court proceedings.
Where did he provide a DNA sample without a prior conviction in this area?
He had had an encounter with law enforcement before and at that time provided the sample.
How long ago was that, roughly?
The previous incident, how long ago? That was at the beginning of 2010.
Was that the domestic violence?
Correct.
Charge with?
So in this case, in pulling together the evidence you need to file the charges, you get the 48-hour rule, time the out at first. Tell us why there were some, I don't want to use the word complications, but at least tell us why you needed more time.
We took additional time on this case because it's such an important case to our community. And when we're dealing with DNA, there's always a lot of information that just because there might be a DNA hit, all that does for us is point out a possible suspect. But with so much additional information, by the time we received the paperwork in the case, there just wasn't time to make a fully reasoned decision to file.
Beyond the DNA, is there anything else that led you to him or anything else you can discuss?
Nothing else I can discuss, but the answer is yes, there are other bits of information.
The DNA hit come?
I don't have an exact date with me. It was about 3 weeks ago.
And though he was charged in his first encounter in law enforcement, did he give that DNA sample upon arrest?
I don't know at what point. Anything else?
In terms of cases, and put it in perspective for us, how complicated of a case is this for you? DNA evidence, I think, is widely recognized by the public as valuable, but it's still for you. This particular case, the DNA evidence you have, would make the case more difficult for you to pull together so that the jury can understand it?
Well, I'll go backwards. The DNA evidence doesn't make it more difficult. Obviously, it helps. But the case, in terms of how complex it is, it's one that's going to require a lot of work, as any potential capital case does, and especially in a situation where it's an older case. So, yeah, it's not an overwhelmingly easy case, but we believe that there is sufficient evidence at this point to file the charges, murder in a special circumstance.
Have you talked with the DA yet about the death penalty and what kinds of discussions go into a decision like that?
We haven't discussed officially whether or not this will be a death case. What goes into it is we have what we call staffing, where senior members, including the district attorney, sit down, discuss the facts of the case, the defendant's background, the aggravating factors or any mitigating factors that the court allows, and then a decision will be made. We hope to make one fairly quickly in this case. And I also wanted to add this with a little prompting. We always have the victim's family's input before we make that final decision too regarding death. And so we'll find out their feelings, meet with them, spend some time talking to them. We invite the defense attorneys who represent the suspects to come in and talk about what they feel should happen, give their reasons for or against death.
Do you have any idea how long he was living in the community after this crime happened?
He was there for a while. He wasn't just a transient member of the community. He had a home out in Moreno Valley.
Sir, I understand that there was actually other folks that were looked at, other persons of interest. How confident are you that this is the man that murdered Norma Lopez?
Two parts to that. Number one, sure, there were a lot of people looked at because the Sheriff's Department got a lot of information, tips, people that want to help, people that are angry at other people that might give false tips. So there are a lot of people that were interviewed, looked at, investigated. As far as my personal confidence, I have enough confidence in the case that I believe we have met the correct legal standard that we owe to this defendant and the community and the victim's family, and that is that there's a reasonable likelihood of conviction. Anything else?
The procedures today, what exactly took place today? There was an arraignment and a court date set, and what's going to happen next?
We never finished the arraignment today. The defense requested a continuance of the arraignment because they had not even come in on the case officially till the court appointed them this afternoon. So I gave them a copy of the complaint. They didn't even have that yet. We provided them with the discovery, all of the reports that we have so far. They've asked for time to read that to decide whether or not they have a conflict in the case, whether they can take it, and then we'll come back and either proceed to arraignment on the next court date or they'll ask for another continuance. Okay? Thank you.